Okay, hello everybody. For this practical lesson, we are going to be focusing on these learning outcomes in Microsoft Word. And to start off with, we're going to work on a blank Word document. So please open a blank Word document. Once you have your blank Word document open, we are going to generate random text. To do this, you type an equals to sign, the word rand, and make brackets. When you have that, just click enter, and you should see that random text has been generated for you. So now I want to create a heading. So maybe I want this work to be called Word Example. And after the first two paragraphs, maybe I want a body, and just before the last paragraph, maybe conclusion. So can you see that all the text appears the same, and the computer doesn't know what's a heading and what's just plain text? And how you can let the computer know that this is actually different headings is through the use of your styles. So I'm just going to click on the drop down to show you all the different styles available. If you just hover over them, you'll see how it would look. You have the option to create your own style, or if you wanted to modify a style, you would just right click on a style, and then you'll see that you have this modify option. So let's say, for example, you wanted to modify the title. So the title style. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the style to this text, Word Example. So the golden rule for Word is you need to select your text and then go to your styles and click on the title style. So that's how the title style looks. But let's say we wanted to modify it. What we would do is we would right click and choose the modify option. Once you do that, you'll see a menu that looks like this. You could change the font, you could change the size, you could make it bold, italics, underline, or even the color. So let's say, for example, we wanted to make it italics and we wanted to make it this purple color. We could do so like this. This is just a preview menu. It's just showing you how the text would look like if you were going to use the style. At the bottom, these options are already chosen. This one means that in the styles gallery, do you want to be able to see the style? Okay, that's chosen. And I want the style only available in this document. So I don't want it for every other document, just in this document, and then click OK. Can you see now when you go to your styles, the title looks a bit different. Now it's no longer that plain black text, it's italics and it's purple in color. Let's say, for example, you wanted to create a new style. So now you don't want to just modify something, you want to create something new. So you could choose create a style. For creating a style, you need to give it a name. So maybe the name of this could be information systems. So just remember, the name needs to be different from the names of the styles that already exist. This just shows you a preview about how the text would look like, but you can customize this. Let's modify. So choose the modify option. While we're here in the modify section, let us maybe make it size 16. And let's remove the italics and choose underline. And then for the color, let's choose this blue color. Then click OK. So it has applied the style to my title. And I'm just going to go to the drop down to show you that it appears. So it's called Information Systems. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reapply the title style. Okay, so far we learned how to apply a style, modify a style, and create a new style. So now let's see how we would insert a table of contents. So a table of contents shows you the different headings and the pages where you would find those headings. And it appears at the beginning of a document. So currently the computer doesn't know that we have any headings. And how we can do this is we should apply headings to inform the computer that we do have headings and it should appear in the table of contents. So select the text for body and apply heading 1, and then select the text for conclusion and apply heading 1 as well. So your document should look something like this. And we said that the table of contents should be at the beginning of a document. So I'm going to insert or put my insertion point here at the beginning of the document. Just click enter to create some space. And I'm going to go to my references tab. And I'm going to go to my table of contents tab group. And then if you click on the drop down, it's going to show you different built-in table of contents. So I'm just going to choose this second one called automatic table 2. Can you see that it's automatically inserted a table of contents for me? Now I see something missing here. I should probably have an introduction. So let me type the word introduction. Then I must come back to my styles and apply a heading. So can you see, even though we've applied this heading style, the word introduction does not appear in my table of contents. This is because we need to update the table of contents. To update the table of contents, you just need to click inside. You should see that it has this rectangle around it. And you will see that you have this option called Update Table. So if you click on Update Table, it's going to open this menu. The first option is to update the page numbers only. And the second one is to update the entire table. So I'm going to choose Update Entire Table because this option is going to include any new headings that I have created, as well as adjusting the page numbers if I had more pages. So the first option would just update the numbers only and not include any new headings that you have created. Then I'm going to click OK. And you should see that now you have the introduction in your table of contents. To move the table of contents, I'm just going to click in it. And then you should see these 3 dots. You could just click and drag. Maybe you want it before the title. And when you release it, it'll appear there. So I'm going to bring it back to after my title. Okay, I'm just going to undo that action. And I'm going to bring it under there. Okay, so that's how you would move your table of contents. Word can also help you create cover pages. If you go to your Insert tab. Under the Pages tab group, you will see Cover Page. So let's click on the drop down and you should see all the built-in cover pages that Word has. So I'm going to choose this first one called Austin, and it's inserted here. So because I am logged in, it already knew my name. I'm just going to zoom a bit out so we can see it a bit better. Okay, but if you were to just click inside any of these text boxes, you will see that it gives you what information you should be entering. So it tells me I should be entering an abstract. Here I should be entering a title, a subtitle, and the name. So let's say you don't want an abstract. All you'll have to do is make sure you double click on the tab that says abstract, and then if you click backspace, you'll be able to remove it. And then if you wanted to enter text, you just need to click somewhere in that text box and type in the title, for example. The title was Word Example. The subtitle could be ILS Practical. And then you could even edit the details. Maybe this was made by Miracle instead. So that's how you could type in your own details, edit details, and to remove items you don't want. Because remember, this is just a template for you to use and customize. So now that we've inserted this cover page, we could also remove it. So how we would remove it is we need to go back to our Pages tab group and then click on the drop down for the cover page, and towards the end you will see an option to remove the current cover page. So if you click that, your cover page will be removed. So if we look at our page, I'm just going to scroll down, okay. It has an extreme top section and extreme lower section. Now these sections have different names. So what I want you to do is go to the extreme top and double click. And you should see that you've opened a section called a header. And if you scroll down, you'll see that the footer opens as well. That's the extreme lower section. So if you click in either the top or the extreme bottom, you'll be able to open these sections, and you'll notice that your whole page has been grayed out. So you can't edit or select any of the text here. But your cursor appears at the top, which means you could enter text here at the top or here at the bottom. So these are your header and footer sections. If you wanted to close these sections, you could click on this close button, or you could just double click in your document to close the header and footer sections. Let's open it up again, and you should see that you have this new tab created called header and footer. So this tab allows you to edit everything to do with headers and footers. So one of the things we can do is insert page numbers. So you go to your header and footer tab group, you will see that you have page number as an option, and then if you just click, you will see all the different ways you could have a page number, all the different positions. So let's choose top of page and let's choose plain number 1. And once you have that, you should see that a number has been inserted for you. You can close the header and footer, and can you see you can't type in that section any longer because it's closed. So now you are able to interact with the rest of your work, but you are no longer able to interact with the header section. So remember to open it up again. You come to the extreme top of your page, double click, and that's how you can open your header. Let's focus now on our References tab. So what I want you to do is go to the Citations and Bibliography tab group. You'll see that you have a style, and if you click on the drop down, it'll show you all the different styles available to you. So these just mean that you could choose the different styles of referencing. So I'm going to choose the Harvard style, and I'm going to click on this option called Manage Sources. Okay, at the moment I have no sources and I can create one. So I click on New, and you'll see that a new menu opens up, and the first option is to select the type of source. If you click on the drop down, you'll see that there's lots of different types of sources. A common one that we'll be using is a journal article. So select a journal article. Then your next text field is for author. So if you just click in the different text fields, you'll see an example of what Word expects you to enter. But for author, what's nice is to use this edit button, because you can see it lays out all the different sections for you nicely so that you don't make a mistake. So for example, if we were citing Rihanna Minty, we would type in her last name, then we would type in her first name. When you're happy with that, you can click Add. If you had a second author, maybe you were citing Nazir Joseph, so you type in his surname and his first name. Click Add. When you're happy with that, you can click OK. Now it shows you all the authors of this piece of work. But if it was a corporate author like the United Nations, so corporate authors could be organizations or companies, then you would click this option here, and then you would type in the organization. So for example, United Nations. So now we can enter a title. I'm going to enter the title Sustainable Development Goals. Then maybe the journal name was Information Systems Governance. The year was 2024. And here it'll show you how it expects you to enter the pages. So for example, if you had page 90 to page 100, that's how it would look. The volume, it expects a number, and so does the issue. When you're happy with that, you can click OK, and you will see that it gives you a preview of how your reference would look. So this is a citation, and we use it in the body of text. It's very short. It's just to credit the author or the source of information in your text, and the bibliography will appear at the end of your document to show more details about the source. If you made a mistake, you could just click the edit button, and maybe you made a mistake with the year. So you could easily just fix that and click OK. Now it tells me that, do you want to update? Say yes. Okay, so now we see that it has been updated. I'm going to close this. For example, let's use this reference. So I'm going to come to the last paragraph of my introduction. I'm going to place my insertion point here and click space. And I'm going to click on Insert Citation. Now, can you see that the reference you loaded appears here? Let's click on it. And you'll see that it has been inserted in your text. If we click on your citation, you should see that it has a little rectangular frame around it and 3 dots. If we click on this drop down, we will see different options regarding our citation. So we could edit the citation, edit the source, convert it to static text. So that means that you're going to remove this border around it and Word will only treat it as plain text. So let us edit the citation. And here you could include page numbers, or you could suppress, which means to remove different details. For example, if you were to remove the author and click OK, then only the year would appear. So I'm going to go back. So that one wasn't so useful, but maybe adding page numbers would be more useful. So let's say we took that information from page 90. So we could include page 90 and click OK. Now you'll see that you were able to edit the details here in the citation. So I'm just going to show you the difference between this text here and plain text. So can you see this is plain text? It doesn't have that rectangular frame around it. So now if we wanted to make it our citation in that plain static text, we would come to our drop down, then we would say convert citation to static text. And now do you see you don't have that option to edit it because it's treated as static text. We can also include a bibliography. So how we do that is we come to the bottom of our page because generally our bibliographies are found at the bottom of our page. And you go to your Citations and Bibliography tab group and click on Bibliography. So here are the different options you could choose from. If you wanted a bibliography, you would click on that, and now you have a bibliography. This bibliography, remember, contains all the details that you loaded when you went to your Manage Sources and loaded all those details. But now let's say that you have a new source. So you go to your Manage Sources and click New. Maybe for this example, we use a book. Let's click on Edit because we have some author details, and I will use the last name of Smith, and maybe the first name was Jane. Click Add, and then click OK. Maybe she wrote about the importance of Word in 1999. The city could be New York. Maybe the publisher was Penguin. And let's say, for example, it was the second edition. When you're happy with the details, you click OK. And then can you see it appears in your sources, and you can see a little preview of how it would look like if you inserted it in your bibliography. I'm going to click Close. So now let's go use the citation. I see here in the body, In the second paragraph, it speaks about Word. So let me insert that citation by Jane. That's how it would look like. And in my bibliography, I don't see that information about Jane. So how we updated the table of contents is how we're going to treat our bibliography, because every time you have something new, you will need to update it in order for it to reflect. So if I click somewhere in my bibliography, I will see the option Update Citations and Bibliography. If you click on it, you'll see that the new source has been added. And that's how you could update your bibliography to reflect any new sources that you've used. Now let's say you want to include a blank page. So you can do that by going to the Insert tab and the Blank Page tab group. So now your blank page will appear after your insertion point. So I put mine at the end and I click Blank Page. Now I have 2 pages. Okay. If I were to go to my Layout tab group, you can see that there's different options I can choose from. So in the Page Setup tab group, I could adjust the margins. So if I'm using the narrow margin, it means that I have a little space between the margin and where I can start typing. But if I chose the normal one, can you see it's become a bit wider? I have more space. I could change the orientation. For example, I could make it landscape. So can you see the pages are no longer portrait, they are all landscape. I could also make columns. So what I'm going to do is select the text for my introduction, go to my columns and click 2, and I have created 2 columns. Just like how newspaper articles are written, they are written in a column form. To see the ruler, you could go to the View tab, and in the Show tab group, you can click on the ruler option to show the ruler at the top, and you can see one on the side of your screen, and it just shows you how far you are, how much space you have, and where you're starting to type from. So that's just about the ruler. If you don't want to see it, then you can just click on it again, it'll be removed. So now we know about different indentations from our previous sessions together. So if I go to the Home tab, these are your indentations. You could decrease or increase indentations. But if we go to our Layout tab group, we also have something to do with indentations. So these indentations are different because we have a left and right indentation. So I'm just going to place my insertion point here, and the left indentation means you're going to move from the left. Now you can either move in a positive direction or a negative direction. So if we move in a positive direction, we are moving away. Now if we move in the negative direction, okay, we are moving closer. Now the right one will move the text from the right hand margin. So I'm going to put my cursor here, and let's look at the right indentation. So maybe we want to increase it. That's how you can increase it. Can you see now the text has moved away from the right hand margin? And then to decrease it, we can do that. So now it moves closer towards the right hand margin. So that's a special kind of indentation called left and right. And if we click on this option here for paragraph settings, we can see this category called special. So the left and right is here, but there's also the special one, and the first line indentation means that you're going to indent the first line. And you can see something called hanging. So that means that everything after the first line will be indented. So I'm going to show this using the sentences here in the body paragraph. So if I place my cursor here in the first sentence, I'm going to do a hanging indentation. Click OK. Can you see now that special indentation has been applied? For this second the second paragraph rather, I'm going to use first line. Click OK. Can you see now the first line has been indented? So that's how you could use these special indentations in your work. We also have something called endnotes and footnotes. So endnotes will appear at the end of your document, and footnotes appear at the end of your page. So footnotes are generally used for when you want to give extra information about something. Now, I'm going to choose to insert a footnote here by the word embed. Maybe I want to tell the user some more information about the word embed. So how I do that is I will go to my References tab, and then you will see you have a tab group called Footnotes. So I will insert a footnote. You'll see that I have a little A, and it's made a little A here. So now I can type more information to let the reader know more about the word embed. So maybe I can tell them embedding means maybe that's a definition I want to include. Now, if you wanted to maybe change how this looks, you can do it. So here you come to your footnotes, and then you click on this menu, and then maybe you want to change how it looks. So maybe you want it to be numbers instead. So now it's numbers, and then you can apply that. Now you can see it's no longer A and A, now it's changed to 1. But if you don't want this footnote, you can remove it. And how you remove it is you go to your text and you remove the footnote from there. So you do that, you just press backspace. Can you see now it has removed the footnote? For endnotes, it works in a similar way. So for example, if you wanted to create an endnote now, you can say insert endnote. Okay. Can you see how it's jumped all the way to the end? So I created the endnote here for embed, but where it's allowing me to type, it's all the way at the end of my document. So maybe you want to give your extra information here at the end. Now you could type it in a similar way. And how you can edit the appearance, you also do it through your menu, and you can format it. So maybe you want to make it with these capital letters. Then you can say apply, and then now you can see it's no longer numbers, you have these capital letters. So that's how you could do your endnotes. And to remove it, same thing, you come to your text and you click backspace. I'm just going to scroll down and you can see it's no longer here. You no longer have that endnote. I'm just going to zoom out a bit. So can you see that our orientation is landscape? Now, what if you don't want all the pages to be landscape? Maybe you just want the first two and then the last one to be portrait. So what you can do is you place your cursor on the page you want to be different, and then you can come to your layout and then go to your page setup tab group and then expand the menu. And now you have more options to edit the layout of your page. So we said we want this one to be portrait, and we don't want the whole document, we just want from this point forward. And then we click OK. So now can you see everything else is still in landscape, but our last page is now portrait. So that's how you could play around with your orientation of your pages. I'm just going to zoom in. Now I want to focus on your page breaks. So did you see Word automatically gives you these new pages, or you could insert a new page? But the pages that are inserted automatically are if maybe you typed to the end of a page, a new page can be created for you. But we can manually create these separations in the pages by using something called page breaks. So if you come and place your insertion point just before body, I want you to go to breaks. This is where we can insert the page break, and let's click on it and choose page break. So now can you see we've moved this body into a new page. We've created a page break. So I will prove it. I'll go to my home tab and I will show the formatting. So go to your paragraph tab group and show the formatting. You can see now you have something called a page break. So this is indicating to you a page break has been created. Now, if you wanted to remove this page break, what you'll do is you'll just double click. So now everything is selected and you click backspace, and now this page break has been removed. To turn your formatting off, that's how you would turn your formatting off. Okay. Now, towards the bottom left of your screen, you will see how many pages you have and also the words. So now the words is the total amount of words in the entire document. But if you just wanted the number of words in maybe a paragraph or a section, you would just select the text of that section, and then you could see how many words that section comprises of. If you go to your home tab and go to your editing tab group, you will see that you have find and replace. So let's click on find. Now find, all that it does is that if you typed in some text you were looking for in your document, maybe you're looking for video, it's going to show you every single time that the word video appears, and you can see that it has been highlighted. So now you can easily see it in your text. I'm just going to close the navigation pane and let's look at replace. So what replace does is that replace, okay, it should open a menu. Here it is. So replace, you need to enter some text that you want to replace, and you need to enter what you want to replace it with. So for example, if you wanted to find the word video and replace it maybe with the word picture, you could do that. So you could click replace all and it tells you there was one replacement. Say yes. Okay. I'm going to close. So now we had video here and now it says picture. So that was easy. We easily replaced a word. But let's see sometimes that you want to use an advanced replace because, for instance, you have the word you and the word your. So let's focus on that, the word you and your. Now, if you were going to do a replacement, maybe with me. Now, let's say you want to replace you with me. Because you appears here in this word, it's going to think you also want to replace that as well. So how we do that is when we are replacing, so I said we're going to replace you with me, we need to go to this option here for more. And in this option, you can get different search options. So if you wanted to match the case, like if something had a capital letter, you could choose that. But I want to choose find whole words only. So that means that if you does exist inside another word, it's not going to be included. So I only want exactly the word you. So I'm going to say replace all. It made 17 replacements. I say okay and close. Now do you see it just says me everywhere? Okay. And the your, it's fine. I only replaced every single time I saw the word you. So that's how you can use your find and replace. Now, let's say you want Word to help you with the quality of your writing. You want it to give you some suggestions of words. So how you can do that is maybe right-click on a word, and you should see that you have this option for synonyms. Now, the synonyms are basically words that mean the same thing. So, for example, I chose the word coordinated, and it's giving me options here of synonyms. There's also this option here called thesaurus. So let's click on that and just expand the menu if it's a bit small for you. Now, a thesaurus is a collection of synonyms. So how you have a dictionary which shows you the definitions, a thesaurus is a collection of synonyms for a word. So now it shows us, are there better ways or better words we could use if it's maybe the adjective or this one means for a verb? How could we replace the word coordinated? So maybe you want to use the word synchronized. So now we click here on the side, you'll see a little arrow. So click on the arrow and now click insert. And now you'll be able to use that word instead of coordinated. You can close your menu and then your thesaurus will be closed. And you could go on maybe to finding more synonyms and options to change your text. If we go to our review, so our review tab, you will see that you have comments. So comments are useful if you're working with multiple people in a document. So you share the document and you're working with different people and you want to leave little messages to each other. You could use comments. So maybe in the introduction, I will select the text picture and maybe I want to create a new comment about that. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out so you can see my screen. So then on the side of the page, I will see that because I'm logged in, it gives the name of the person. And now I can start typing a comment. So maybe I can say, please include a picture example. Because maybe I am trying to tell my team member that how we can improve this is they need to include a picture example, and I can click that button to send the comment. And then if my team member sees this, they could click here to reply. So they could say, yes, sounds good. Now remember, I'm replying to myself. So it's going to show my name, but if you had a different team member, it'll show their names. So you can see I said yes, sounds good. It shows you the date and time. So if these things were resolved, so let's say you don't need this information anymore, then you could delete it. So you could delete all the comments, or you could come here, you could resolve. So your comments are still there. So you can see this icon, it's saying resolved. So it's still there, but it's not so important. We don't need it to appear, so we can click resolved. But let's say now you want to delete it. Now you're no longer wanting it to be anywhere in your document. So now you could click on this bin icon to delete it. So you could click delete and it'll disappear. So that's how you could delete your comment. So maybe I want a new comment on Word. So I could do it through this menu, but I could do it here in my comments tab. So I'll say new comment, and then I'll be able to say maybe define what Word is and post. But maybe that's not a full instruction, so I could edit it and I could say define what the Word application is. So now I'm editing my comment. Click the button to post it, and then your comment is there.